So in today's video, we're going to be talking about Microsoft and what Microsoft are doing with Microsoft Skype. Now in May 2025, Skype will be retiring. So we're going to be looking at why they're retiring it, what replaces it, and how you can jump on the new platform. So let's jump on a PC and get started. So first, let's take a look at why Microsoft are retiring Skype. As you can appreciate, the decision to retire Skype isn't completely surprising. Over the years, Microsoft have been working on developing Microsoft Teams in favor of things like Skype. So how long has Skype been around? Well, Skype's been around since 2003, and it was one of the first voice over IP services that was widely available to people. And what was made it really good was that you could make Skype to Skype calls quite comfortably and quite easily, and that was free. So all you really needed was a good internet connection and the Skype app on your PC. Now, back in 2011, Microsoft acquired Skype for about $8.5 million. So Microsoft jumped into the marketplace because they knew where this was going. They could see the benefit of Skype. And they integrated Skype into things like your Microsoft 365 subscription, and it became almost the cornerstone of communications with your Microsoft application. So now you've had this application around for over 20 years, what do you do with it? How do you progress it? Where does it go? Now, I don't know if you remember, there was a scenario that happened back in about 2020, if my memory serves me well, called the pandemic. And COVID caused a worldwide pandemic, which made us to have to go into lockdowns, and a lot of people had to go and work from home. Enter the marketplace for Microsoft Teams. Now, there was two major players in this field, Microsoft Teams and Zoom. So the battle was forged. You either were a Microsoft Teams user having Teams meetings, or you was using Zoom. But wait a minute, there was Skype. Where was Skype in all of this? It kind of just started to dwindle and disappear. And that was mainly because Microsoft Teams has the ability to collaborate. So not only can you meet in your Teams meetings, but you could also collaborate in documents and other applications. So it started to make it more use case for business users, but also it became quite synonymous during the pandemic for home users as well, because they were using it for things like having quiz nights and stuff like that with your family, or in some cases there were doctor surgeries using it for having video consultations with patients. So again, these were two major competitors, Zoom and Teams. So slowly but surely, Skype started to dwindle in its use case. So why is Microsoft actually retiring Skype? Well, if you look at this post that they put out there, which I'll put in the link in the description below, it talks about Microsoft Teams, and in fact it talks more about Microsoft Teams rather than the why. And Microsoft Teams is now becoming the new kid on the block. So it makes sense that why have these two communications tools when you can have just the one. So the way I look at this is looking at it from a business decision, and Microsoft have retired Skype in favor of Teams because, let's be honest, you can use voice calls within Teams for business, and therefore they've integrated that Skype technology into Teams for a business application point of view. Now that doesn't do a lot for you home users, because as a home user, and if you've been using Skype quite diligently, and you've bought things like the Microsoft 365 subscription, which comes with 60 minutes of Skype credit, that too would also now be retired as well. So again, there's some information on that link that talks about what happens with those credits, and if you've purchased additional credits and so forth, and how that's going to work, which will leave for another video maybe. But for the sake of this video, Microsoft have acquired Microsoft Skype, integrated the technology into Teams for business applications, and from a home user's point of view, they've given you Teams now free, again included Windows 11, or downloadable from the website. And if you've got Microsoft Teams, or if you've got Microsoft Skype and you want to integrate it with Teams, you're going to need to know how to migrate those into one, which we'll cover later on in the video. So what you really need to do is to understand that Skype is out and Teams is in. So let's have a look at exactly what Microsoft Teams can do for you. If we jump on the page, if you haven't already done so, again, if you haven't learned anything from our training during the pandemic, Microsoft Teams is a all-in-one sort of collaboration tool. this thing will allow you to hold meetings. You can have meetings, face-to-face meetings, voice meetings. You can run different sort of sessions in there. You can chat to people. So if you've got your contacts within your Teams platform, you can still hit them with chat, and which again I think is quite a useful tool, because if I've got clients who contact me using Skype, so I don't want to lose that. So thankfully that's been migrated across into Teams. What it allows you to do is not only have that more collaborative session with people, but you can have it obviously with multiple people. You still can have those medical consultations that you might have had or started to have again since the pandemic. So Teams is the obvious choice, and Teams is the best way to go forward as well, because it's part of your Microsoft ecosystem. Again, it's used in education, it's used for business, but it's also used for personal quite extensively. And we've got a lot of customers who actually do embrace Teams, and they use it quite extensively for their personal use. Right, so okay, so that's all very good. That's amazing. So we think Teams is great, but what do you do next? Because you've got Skype, you've been using Skype, you've got all your contacts on there, you've got all your chats on there. How do we get you from Skype onto Teams? Well, let's jump onto my Microsoft Teams personal, and I'll show you how to go ahead and do this. So first, what we need to do is, if we haven't already got it, we need to go and download Microsoft Teams. And you can, if you haven't already got this on your machine, by the way, it's very easy to go and do. If I just quickly show you, if we just go to Microsoft, let's just do a quick Google search for Microsoft Teams, or do it that way, because that's what most people will do. They'll do a Google search for it. And what we're looking for is, I'm going to go to this download option here. And in this download option here, we can download Microsoft Teams for Windows, and that will download the Microsoft Teams for Windows app for your PC. Now, I've already got it installed, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and spin that up. So now what we need to do is get from Skype onto Teams, and the best way of doing it right now, rather than waiting for them to migrate you across, is if we come over to these three dots over here and goes to this Teams Insider link that you see here, and if we join the Microsoft Teams Insider and hit restart, you'll see it will come up with this prompt, and this prompt is saying Skype and Teams are coming together. Okay, all your Skype messages and contacts are now within Teams. So all I now need to do is to click on continue. So it's picked up my profile, my personal profile, as well as my Skype, which is of course the same Microsoft account. So I've used the same Microsoft account for my Microsoft 365 subscription, as well of course as my Skype. So they're both the same. So choose the profile you'll to use everywhere, and I'm going to be using this one here. So to get my details moved from Skype into Teams, I'm just going to click on Skype here now. It's asking me for my name, which is fair enough. There you go. I'm going to click on continue, and I now have all my contacts and my details from my previous chats inside of Teams. So everything's populated on the left hand side, which are all my previous chats from Skype, and as well as all my contacts. So I can see all my contacts and activity that I've done previously. Obviously this is all going to be blurred out, but I can see that this is the last conversation I've had with somebody is on here on my main screen. And on the left hand side, if I come down here, you can see all my previous conversations that I've had. So that is how you can migrate yourself from Microsoft Skype over onto Microsoft Teams. So that brings everything together. So there you go. That's how you migrate yourself from Microsoft Skype into Microsoft Teams and bring across all your previous conversations. What do you think? Have Microsoft got it right this time? Have they got this migration working smoothly? Is it a good idea to be using Teams as a replacement to Skype? Let us know in the comments below. My name's Rob from RLS Computer Services. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If so, please like and subscribe, and don't forget to share, and I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks for watching.